Oh my gosh, guys. What a way to officially close out season 10. It is done for The Walking Dead with 22 episodes, 6 in the extended, and his one is the last one, the finale. Here's Negan. Wow, here he is on my shirt. I had to wear this shirt. This was a great episode. I was enthralled the entire time. I was just loving watching Negan come to be. The only problem, it's not even a problem, I wish I had more. I really would like to see how he truly, I know we kind of seen how he got his start, but how he kind of came to power, because we didn't get to see that far, but we did get to see some great times of seeing a true Negan where he had emotion. I mean, he had a life, he had a wife, and even further, she was she was very sickly, very sickly with cancer, and he was trying to keep her alive in the post apocalypse as it was just getting started. She had her treatment she wanted to get through. There were some other things going on. We found out that Negan at one point was actually cheating on his wife, and this is where, I mean, he was down on his luck in a lot of ways, right? So we found out that basically he got into a really bad fight with a guy at a bar because him and his wife were trying to play their song "You Are So Beautiful" by Joe Cocker, and basically this a-hole basically jumps in the way and is disrupting the song. So Negan decides to take it on himself to basically beat this dude down to a pulp, which we've all been there. At least some guys, it's a pride thing, but yeah, he must beat this guy for 11, and it just so happens that since Negan is a gym teacher, that this guy has kids at that school, and basically Negan gets fired, he loses his insurance, and now his wife has to start paying his medical bills, and now it's soon to be her own medical bills as well because she has cancer. And the same day where she goes, and man, it was a hard blow, because you could definitely tell she was getting fed up with him and his style. I mean, he was obviously out of work, he didn't know what to do, he's gaming online with teens and doing his thing, kind of giving a bad image to gamers, but whatever. He's just biding the time or whatever. And at the same time, she finds out that basically he's been cheating on her, and she finds out because when she's getting her diagnosis or whatever, someone was supposed to, or when she got her MRI, someone was supposed to drive her home, and he couldn't do it. He was going to see his parole officer, and it just so happens that the woman that she tried to call, and then he tried to call him at the same time, neither were open, answering their phones, and that was it. So she pretty much put two and two together. Maybe a little too quick of, coming to that decision that that's what's going down, but all the same, it's what was going down. And she finally lets him know later on, even after surviving the apocalypse and trying to do what he could for her in every way, she says that, you made up for it, I love you. And he loved her so much, and he basically ends up having to go out because they spend the night together with a big hoorah, if you will, and they forget to keep the generator on, and her her weekly installments or whatever of the chemotherapy basically thaw out, and they're destroyed. And so he has to try and find this group of traveling doctors to try and get some more. And he goes out there. He's out there for 6 weeks almost, we find out. And he finally finds them with an empty gun. He tries to pull off a little coup on them, but anyways, they knock him out. You saw it. It was pretty good, just kind of seeing, and notice that the daughter, I mean, he said it was the guy and his daughter, so if it was, that's the same chick that's part of Negan's crew, and I think is now part of Alexandria to date. And I'm sorry, I don't remember her name. I know she has blonde, I think she has curly hair, but all the same, it was kind of cool seeing that familiar face in the tie-in. But yeah, they end up giving him everything he needed. All the fluid injections, and she gave him the baseball bat, which he would later name Lucille, for his past wife. And but yeah, he gets home. That was pretty hard to watch. 6 weeks. She just, all she wanted from him was to stay, and that must have been damn lonely for her. And I guess that's why she ended up, taking the pills and saying good day, and the bag over her head too. That must have been so painful to be alone like that. It was just a great episode, guys. It was great to see this transition, and also to see that biker gang that caught him, because the medical crew, they warned him, said, these streets are owned at night, and he got caught, and he had no way to defend himself, and then he had to give them up. It's a whole lot of give and take in this episode. Luckily, it all kind of worked out, especially for the doctor crew. Maybe not so much for Negan. I mean, yeah, he has his life, but he lost his purpose, and that was his wife. And you take that from someone, and it could be just anybody, I mean, not just anybody could come to the status and the power that Negan became, in the years that followed that incident. But he was that one. He was that one man that they should not have been messed with. And once he lost Lucille, that was it. I think Lucille, played by Jeffrey Dean Morgan's wife was amazing. She did a great job. Hats off to her. Jeffrey Dean Morgan, great as always. We saw that emotion, that tension, and that speech he was giving to that guy. The story about the whole bartending, the bartending scene where basically they were playing the song. The guy interrupted, and he asked for 50 cents to replay. Anyways, that whole telling the song, and how Negan basically said, "You're not going to want me to stop talking, because when that happens, something very bad's going to." I mean, it was just back to those old great lines from Negan that we love and loved. So, and let's also get in a little further more. So, Carol takes Negan. I should have hit this on earlier, but there's just too much other great stuff that happened. But a big part of this is basically Carol takes Negan out to the cabin where Daryl and Leah were hanging out for all that time, for that 6 months or however long it was. And so basically she tells him that he's been banished by the council, and she'll check in with him, this and that, and get food here and there, but that's pretty much it. And he's picking up on, is this just a Carol thing, or did I really get banished? It was just a Carol thing, that we end up finding on later on, because Maggie, she can't let go. And it's for good reason too, guys. I mean, Maggie, I'm not a huge fan of her, to be honest. She's a little too hardcore for me. She combated against Rick because he's my boy, and I didn't like her style when it came to Rick. I think she was undermining him, and I didn't appreciate it, and I still don't to this day. I want Rick back at all costs. But all the same. But Maggie's doing her thing, and she has pain behind those eyes. Oh, yes, she does. And it's understandable. If Negan would have did that to any of our family members, there's no way, I don't think any of us would just be like, yeah, I guess we're cool now. It's cool. No, probably not. So, it's understandable. But he walks back in there. Tell me what you thought. You have to tell me. What did you think about him walking back into Alexandria? I mean, my wife and her were just kind of like, and he's got that smirk on his face. Now, he burned Lucille, so he went back out to the field where Rick slashed his throat. And so apparently they never took the bat, and go figure, they didn't. It was still out there, just kind of rotting away underneath the earth and whatever. But he found it, and he ends up breaking it off on one of the zombies, but he ends up burning it. He burns Lucille. So that has to be definitely a moment of closure for him, right, in his old life. And he goes, I'm not going to stop, fighting for you in your name. I'm paraphrasing, but it was something like that. But it was so confusing, though, when he walks back into Alexandria, because, Carol basically says, she's just kind of smiling with us like, yeah, you're back, but she's going to kill you, and I'm not going to feel bad about it. It's not on my conscience. I tried. And he's like, I know. And he kind of walked off. Was that Negan basically just saying that, listen, I've done terrible things, but, I want to do things in a name for something good, and I'm not going to go out just on this being an exile little, what. I'm going to do it on my terms. And is that what that message was? I hope that's where it ends, because I don't think there's anything sinister there, but man, that look he gave over to Maggie, kind of smiling, and she's just giving him the death stare. And he's just kind of looking over, kind of smiling. She's kind of like, what the hell does that mean? It was wild. It was wild. I was loving it, though. I wish we could see some more. I wish we could see some more flashbacks to see how he truly came to power. Hey, possible spinoff? I'd be down. And I don't want to bring it into anything huge, right? Maybe it's like a 6 episode, maybe even less than that, maybe 4 episodes of just kind of showing the highlights of where he came to power and how people basically started following him. And yeah, maybe it just was through brute force and we don't need to see all that, but I don't know. I'd be curious to see how it all went down. So maybe in the future, we'll cross our fingers. You never know. So I hope you guys enjoyed a quick little synopsis. I know it jumped around a little bit, but it was just great. I mean, ever seen the biker gang getting theirs in the end? Negan coming to be, showing that true emotion behind those painful eyes. But also just not willing to take anybody's crap. And it's understandable. I mean, what he went through, and what he remembers. So we're going to have to see how him and Maggie get along in this season 11 as we move into the last, what is going to be 20 some odd episodes. I'll have to look up exactly, but it will be good. So I am Mike with the Z-Man Show. Make sure to come out on Sundays. We will be doing Fear the Walking Dead. I think it starts up April 11th, so about a week or so. We'll get back to those. And I think there'll be some other stuff mixed in between. Come out on Wednesdays to see my buddy and Adam do our other movie reviews. Dead Nightmare, my little tiny indie zombie YouTube series. If you want to check that out, it's on my channel. And other than that, guys, I will see you at the next review. See ya.